Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool record player repair video for you today. Now, we have recently started a separate channel here on YouTube, but for a little bit into the future, we're going to keep uploading these radio and record player videos on our main channel. But we have a new channel, Amateur Repair Time. Make sure to subscribe to that if you have not already, because eventually that's where all of our new videos will be. Right now, we're uploading the videos we've already put up on there. So we'll see you over there. But normally on this channel, on Joe's Video Games, Joe's Classic Video Games, we do videos about arcade games, pinball machines, and jukeboxes. But on the weekends lately, I've been doing Amateur Repair Time, where we work on old clocks, old radios. These are radios as well, and record players. So, hope you've enjoyed those. If you've been watching them, go check out Amateur Repair Time, where we've got all of those, or most of those, uploaded, and that's where all the new ones will be. Somebody brought me this old record player and gave it to me, and thank you for it. They know who they are. They're watching probably. This thing has seen better days. It's rusty. Somebody has scribbled and painted all over it. I think it was Shelia. We're going to figure it out. We'll see. We'll figure out if we can read it. I'm going to get rid of all of that. I don't know these people. If I knew those people, I might keep it, but I don't know those people. I'm getting rid of it. I want to clean it up, make it look like it used to does. This is a Califone record player. This is kind of like an institutional record player. So this would have been at a school or something like that, more than likely. Might have been in the library of your school. We'll research it a little bit here and see what all where it came from. But it's pretty rough. Now, I never really paid much attention to this particular type of record player, although if I saw a bunch of them, I probably would have. I never had anything like this that I can remember in school. Maybe, but I don't remember it specifically. But I started watching Radio TV Phononut. There's a channel here on YouTube, Radio TV Phononut. He's great with this stuff, and he loves these. Like, this is his favorite to work on, I believe. I don't know. He hasn't said that, but he certainly knows a lot about them. And he has done every little thing with these that there is. He knows all the model numbers, knows all the parts. He just knows all about it. So I've picked up a few of these. But like I said, someone brought me this one and gave it to me. So we're going to check it out, see if we can get it to work. I probably have to order a few parts for it, or some minor stuff. I know it's missing the felt disc inside. But let's check it out. I think I'll turn it around where we can see if we can read some of what they've scribbled on it. All right, so this will be the last documentation of this beautiful paint job here. Let's check it out. So it looks like some kid did this. So there's hearts. This appears to be a butterfly. Fairly well done. This says, love ya. And I think that might have said forever. Looks like there were some names here. There's an arrow in through a heart. That's always a classic. And then we have, oh, it's Ashley. I see it now. I didn't see the A. A-S-H-L-E-Y. So, Ashley, you're not supposed to do this. Don't worry, though. We're going to clean it up. Yeah. So I don't know if this was, I don't know how this goes. Maybe they have this at school, and then whenever they get rid of them, they sell them or something. I don't know how they got out of the school. But Ashley got her hands on it either before school or after school and made a mess of it. Doesn't look like there's anything on the other sides. It's all on the top. So I plan on taking like maybe some fingernail polish remover or something and seeing if I can get all of that crap off. I don't even, it's paint, so it's all dry. It's not like a, you know, but it looks like it's in decent shape, usable shape. So I should be able to clean all that off. Now this thing has seen moisture. unfortunately. But, you know, you run into that with old stuff. So I'm going to clean that up as best I can. I will not be replacing those. I'm just going to clean them up. Califone. Number 45. I would assume that was just a number that they used at the school to keep track of some of their stuff. I remember going, you know, they always had this stuff in the library, but I never used a record player in the library that I remember. We used to use film projectors and overhead projectors, but I don't remember ever using a record player for anything. In the 90s, when I was in college, we had, I remember in French class, they had VCRs. So you would go to French workshop and you would sit down, and there would be a little TV and a VCR of some sort. I don't remember how it worked, but you put the tape in, and you'd watch a lesson on French. So I would assume that that was probably what was going on here. There was some kind of lesson that you learned by listening to it on the record player. Rheem Califone 1430C. Solid state phonograph, okay. I didn't know if it would have a tube in it or not. Stereo compatible cartridge. Ooh, I don't like what I'm seeing over there on the cartridge, but we'll get to that in a minute. Califone, a division of Rheem. Now, Rheem, did they make air conditioning systems? Is that how I know their name? Rheem AC units? That's what I'm thinking in my head. Operating instructions. Pickup arm, turntable speed selector. So it has 0, which would be neutral, I guess. Oh, wow. Radio TV Phono Nut is going to be happy. They appeared to have left it in neutral. Now, if I'm not wrong, I think that means that we might get away with being able to save our idler wheel. Basically, if you leave it on one of the speeds, it leaves a little dent in the idler wheel. But if it has been stored on neutral this whole time, maybe that idler wheel will be usable. 78, 45, 33, and 16. So it's a full selection of the speeds, basically. And I did not know that 16 was 16 2/3. That's interesting. Microphone volume control and input jack. It's different. Does this say that it's the same part number? Ours isn't like this. It's very similar. We have the same speed controls, but ours has the power. It says power switch, turn power switch to play position. To stop turntable without shutting off the machine, set switch to pause position, with the exception of the model 1410 SS. So it looks like some of these are a little different. Okay, external speaker jack. We've got that, and we do have the pause. External speaker jack. And then it says volume and tone controls adjust to desired levels. I've got one volume and one tone. And then it says, oh, okay, I see. It says microphone volume control and input jack. When microphone is plugged in, the treble control is disconnected and becomes the microphone volume control. Connect microphone to input jack and set control to desired levels. But then it says models 1450C and 1455C only. And this is 1430C. Okay, so that's correct, which makes sense because, well, I guess in a school it might, but, you know, I was thinking for a minute maybe they swapped the top off of the wrong one or something. But it looks like everything's cool. They give us our stylus part number if this cartridge ends up being any good. Order is part number 73552. Ceramic cartridge. Are those the good ones or the bad ones? I can't remember. There's one that goes bad. The crystal ones are the bad ones. Okay, so a ceramic cartridge, hopefully, possibly, maybe, won't be bad. Maybe we'll get lucky. And then it says there's a fine speed control. A faster or slower than normal speed adjustment is provided to allow the record tempo to be varied. The speed is adjusted by sliding the control lever while viewing the strobe card through the strobe mirror next to the turntable. But down here it's going to say models 1435C and 1455C only, and we've got 1430, so ours doesn't have this. Rhythmic back and forth movement of the strobe bars does not indicate a turntable speed irregularity, but rather a minor eccentricity of the strobe card. A normal condition. All right. You know, this also makes it pretty easy to clean the top since it comes right off. We'll lay that out of the way over here. You can see there's more rust here. Now, this thing is grinding against something. What happens if we put it on something else? Yeah. We'll have to look at that. Now let's see what's going on with this. Have we damaged this? It doesn't look great, but I mean, I don't think it's damaged. I think that's just how it was. This is plastic, actually. And if it's just supposed to sit on there, I guess it's fine. But you'd think as soon as you pick it up the wrong way, it would just go all over the place. But I don't know. What is this, I wonder? I guess I could read some of it, huh? So that unscrews and then screws back. Oh, here we go. Cherokee County School District number 1, Gaffney, South Carolina. That's from Gaffney. That's just right down the road a little bit. That's cool. Well, now we know. So it's a record player from Gaffney. Hopefully they don't want it back. People from Gaffney, I did not steal this. I was gifted this. Okay, I kind of want to see what's going on underneath the turntable. So let me figure out how to get in there. Looks like there's some screws. Actually a bunch of them. Do I have to take all that? I might have to take all of them off. Okay, so let me see what I can figure out. All right, folks, so I carefully took the screws out. One was there. Looks like I took too many out, actually. I've never messed with these, so I don't really... Yeah, I took apart the screws that hold the speaker in the right place, I think. Yeah. I need to put a couple of them back, but once I did that, I was able to lay it down. So inside the case here, there is actually a schematic, but it's been damaged, so it's kind of useless now. Lots of rust on everything. But I'm sure that schematic exists all over the internet. And everything looks untouched. I doubt anybody's been in here other than me. First thing I notice is there's a neon bulb, or I guess that's a neon bulb, on the motor. Maybe that's used like some kind of brake or something. I don't know. And then we've got a couple capacitors here. And then I thought we could keep going, but we're here at the edge. It looks like there's a little bit of, yeah, I see another cap. See, that's a cap. But I got to tell you, it's old electrolytic caps. They're probably screwed up, but they probably still half-ass work to the point where we could test it, you know. I don't see anything telling me I can't turn it on. Okay, and here is our motor. Ooh, that's gonna need some work, isn't it? Well, hell, it's actually, I figured it'd be seized up, but no. Okay, so Radio TV PhonoNet, like I said, he's pretty much the expert on these things. He's done so many of them, he knows all about them, and he really likes them, you know, so he's kind of the guy on these. And I think he uses Zoom spout oil is what he calls it, and I'm sure that's the name of it, but whenever I Google or go on Amazon and look for Zoom spout oil, there's 2 or 3 companies that sell the same thing. It may all be the same product, but I'd like to get the stuff that he's using, you know, just so it's the same thing. But what can you do? So I think what I'll do is go into this motor from the top down, clean this thing up a little bit, and put some oil in it. So maybe I'll go consult one of his videos and see what he recommends. I've got 3-in-1 oil, which will work, you know. If you don't have what he uses, I guess I can use something similar. But I think I'm going to go watch a little bit of his video and see how he recommends oiling this thing. All right, so I put the screws back in for the speaker to put it back where it goes. And everything looks pretty good inside of it. I took the turntable off, and it's filthy. Absolutely filthy. But the motor shaft actually spins freely by hand. However, I've plugged it in just to see what we're working with. And I mean, it's not doing anything, but is our light on? No, our light is not on. So I think we've got something completely screwed up, or I completely don't know what I'm doing. So we're completely dead in the water. So I watched Radio TV PhonoNet's video, and basically he advises first thing to get all of this as clean as possible. So that's what we're going to attempt to do. I'm not going to be able to get rid of all this rust, but I can make it a little better than it is now. And then once we get back inside of it, I should be able to figure out why we have no voltage on anything. All right, folks, so I have busted out the meter. I've got 120 volts between here and here. This is the line cord coming in. So we're getting our 120 in. But if I move over to this other lug on the on-off switch, it doesn't pass through the on-off switch, no matter where I set it. So we've got something going on with the switch. Who knows how long it's been like that. So I'm going to see if I can, there's a couple screws on there. I don't know how sealed up that is, but I'm going to carefully try to take it apart and see if I can find some way to spray some contact cleaner in there, or see if something's just broken or what our problem is. Okay, so putting a jumper across the 2 wires, we get the light on, the motor is turning. I'm hearing some kind of amplification. Yep. All right. motor's turning. So we're good. Just the main problem is the on-off switch, and the of course all of this needs lubricated and oiled and all of that. Oil being similar to lubrication. Okay, so there are 2 screws holding the thing. I'm unplugged, by the way. There's 2 screws holding it together. And then there's this little plate was mounted on there. So I carefully bent the tabs back. And then whenever you get in there, you've got this bad boy. Now, when you turn this little thing up here, it's wet because I sprayed contact cleaner in it. When you turn this thing up here, it's kind of spring-loaded. You know, it's hard to do this while you're filming it. As that turns, the thing moves. That wafer in there moves. Right, so that is what is joining the contacts together. And if you look, there's some little metal rivets in there, or little metal pieces. So one of them is right there in the center, and one of them is over here to the side. So there's a piece of metal there sticking down through it, and a piece of metal there sticking down through it. Right? So one is right there, and one is down here. So presumably when it turns, you can't quite see it, but there's something in there underneath that wafer that is making the 2 touch. So what I did was I checked continuity, and no matter what you did, no matter which way you turned it, it did not connect. Yeah, there's the other position. Somehow I have turned on the focus lock. Might be off now. Okay, there we go. So basically it's open like that, and when you turn it the other way, if I could turn it the other way, it's going to move all of that stuff. Yeah, here you go. Like that, right? So somehow that is connecting those 2 contacts. So it wasn't connecting, so I sprayed the crap out of it with contact cleaner, and then I turned it back and forth. Click, 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 click. Oh, it must have been 50 times. And now when I check, going one way, these are open, and going the other way, these are connected. So that seems to have fixed it. So I'm going to put it all back together. Okay, so I got it back together. You see the little screw there holding it? There's one on the bottom as well. And so we're off now. Now we're on pause, and now we're on play. The only difference between pause and play is there's this bracket thing here, and there is a cable attached to it that comes off of that, right? So when you turn it to pause, it moves that out. So I guess what's going to happen is that's going to be a brake that touches the side of the turntable from inside to pause it. And then whenever you play it, it just moves it off of it. The entire time the motor keeps turning. So play, pause. Oh, you can see it from the bottom. Play, pause, off. Very cool. Okay, so I've removed the motor. There's these little motor mounts and these rubber grommets to isolate it from the plate. I wanted to take that whole plate off so I could get all the rust off of it, but it's riveted on. You know, it's just got rust on it. I'm gonna clean it up the best I can, but it's not gonna be perfect. It'll be all right, folks. So here's the motor and the is this the stator, I guess? This is the rotor. This is the part that rotates. That's the part that's stationary. This isn't as bad as I thought. I thought it was all screwed up looking at it from the top, but it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'll clean it off just a little bit, but I'm going to oil the bearing here. Again, I've been watching Radio TV Phononut. He did some just like this. I'm going to oil that, and basically that, I'll show you the other one, it's easier. This is the one that goes on the end. This all came apart really easily. He said he usually puts a drop or two down in the middle, and then he wets that wicking material around it just to make sure that there's plenty of oil in there. But don't go crazy with it where it's dripping all over the place. He uses Zoom spout oil. There's a couple companies that sell that, but what I did was I stopped his video and examined exactly what he's using and found the correct stuff. So I've got some of that coming. I don't have it yet. So what I want to do on this one is I'm going to use 3-in-1 20 weight oil, which is, you know, used for motors. Now they have 10 weight oil that has a red label. That's the more common 3-in-1 that you see, but this is a little thicker 20 weight. So it's a little better for motors, but I have it on good authority, Radio TV Phononut, that the Zoom spout oil is better. Reading the reviews of the Zoom spout oil, it does look like it's better. People are saying that it's the best stuff ever. I think the company's name was Supco, that it just came back to me, that makes the correct stuff. S-U-P-C-O, I think that's right. The one that's similar to that, you'll see it. And they call it Zoom spout because it has a telescoping spout on it, but it's kind of yellowish oil. That's really good for motors like this. But I'm going to use my inferior product here, but we'll get it. If I get that stuff in and it's good and it's the right stuff, I'll add the link to it to the website. So if you go to lionsarcade.com, on our parts page, we've got this and some other stuff. I'll put that Zoom spout oil up on there whenever I get it in, if it's the right stuff. And if you click any of those links on our page, it takes you to Amazon, and we get a little tip if you buy anything on Amazon after you click those links. So we appreciate everybody that's been doing that on our arcade game videos. All right, so I'm going to clean these up, put it back together. By the way, you can't take this bearing off, and the reason is because there is a spring thing on there that is used to help it change the speed. 45, 33, 16, 78. I don't know if that's the... Let me think. This would turn... I don't know if I can figure out the math on that. If this turns from one revolution from here back around, it's traveling a farther distance, which means it would turn the idler wheel farther, which would make it turn faster. So 78, 45, 33, 16. Okay, so I'm gonna clean it up and put it all back together. Okay, so I wiped this down the best I could. Like I said, there's rust. It's a thing. This is the spindle where the turntable actually mounts. I believe, yeah, there's a C-clip that holds it on actually on the top. So I'm going to put a little oil on that. It's plastic, so I don't know. I think a little oil. I might go back and see what Mr. Radio TV Phononut said. I oiled here and oiled there. Those are both moving fine. That's all moving, no problem. Okay, I've cleaned this because you don't want any oil on the motor shaft, and you don't want any oil on the side of the idler wheel. And I used this on the idler wheel, Rubber Renew. This is supposed to soften it up a little bit, make it a little better. does seem like it worked a little bit, but the thing's still kind of hard and brittle. It probably would be good to get a replacement. What it's probably going to do, if it works, is it's probably going to allow a little bit more noise to come through from the motor, you know, touching the side of the platter. But I was talking earlier about, I think they left it in neutral, so maybe it was never touching the motor. If you look at this, that's neutral. That's 0 RPMs. But if you look at the way the thing is designed, when it's in pause, like we said, yeah, this brake is going to hit the side of the drum, but it's also making the idler wheel not touch the motor shaft. So the motor shaft is turning right now. So it's not until you put it in play that it actually mounts to the motor, right? But since we've got it in 0, it's not even going to do that. Now, it may not work without the platter on it, but we'll see. Yeah, so the platter is going to like push on the side of it. I'm trying not to touch it much to get grease or something on it, but the platter is going to push this towards the motor just slightly. Right? So that's 78. There's 45. There's 33. And here's 16 that you never use. So my whole point is, when it's in pause, it doesn't just break it with the side, it actually disconnects the idler wheel too. So I don't know, folks. I think I put a little drop of oil right in the center too, so that spins nice. So I think we're good. So I'm gonna put the platter back on, and then maybe we'll see if she'll work. She works.
Big man, you got money in your hands, so what? You're at a table for two, but still there's only you, big shot.
All right, so it's working, but it's still got lots of problems here. So it's a little crackly. The tone and the volume knobs are a little touchy, so I think I need to spray some contact cleaner in them. And then obviously the platter, the rubber is gone off of the platter. The mat is gone. So these originally had a ring. The middle doesn't have anything so that you can raise and lower the 45 adapter. But there was a rubber ring that went around here. This is not quite 8 inches. And I've looked and looked, I can't find a good replacement for that online. So I think what I'm going to do is buy some cork and just make one out of cork. Cork works all right to isolate these, you know, and you're trying to protect the record, and then you're also trying to isolate the record so that you don't get the motor noise into the pickup. Also, it's got the original needle, right? So that's probably pretty screwed up. So I'm gonna spray some contact cleaner in the back of these two knobs and see if I get better results out of that. Now the capacitors on the amp in there, we could replace those. As I said, I watched some videos of Radio TV Phononut, and he does that if it's necessary. But on the solid state stuff, a lot of times you don't have to replace all the capacitors. I mean, obviously this one's still working. You know, it would probably help. But this is a solid state. It's a little newer. I don't know when this thing is from. I would still guess the 70s, you know. We could probably look at one of the capacitors and see if we can get a date code off the side of it, and that would kind of tell us when it was made. So I was able to carefully turn that around, and it says 7226, which I would assume is the 26th week of 1972. So it is pretty old. But I mean, I hate to change them whenever it's working. And I don't know how many capacitors there are. If they're all disc capacitors like this. Didn't we look and we thought we saw one earlier? That's a resistor. Ooh, those white things, are those caps? How hard is it to get that off of there? Well, I had to take it loose anyway so I can get to the pots. Electrolytic diodes, cap. These type of caps, these ceramics, or I call them ceramics, disc caps, usually you don't have to replace. There's something. Got some transistors, one white cap. All right, so I'm gonna spray the crap out of the 2 pots and turn them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm gonna replace 1, 2, 3 capacitors, I guess. That big capacitor, I don't know that I've got anything to replace that here at the house, but maybe. All right, so this is 1,000 microfarad 50 volt. I don't have that one here. And this is connected to the external speakers. So that's probably something to EQ it or something. I don't know. Let's see, is that? Oh, that's also what's, the speaker in the cabinet's also connected to that. So I don't have that one either. So we're going to leave those 2, but I did replace the 3 on the main board. This one was a 50 25. This one was a 50 25. And this one was a 2.2 microfarad 50 volt. So I had all those. So they're all new. Maybe that'll make it sound better. And I sprayed the juice, the good stuff, down in the 2 pots and moved them back and forth and all that. They were working, you heard it playing, but that'll hopefully make it sound better. Volume control. Volume's still a little touchy, but it works. All right, so it's working pretty good. It's sounding pretty good, and the speed is right. But the idler wheels probably, it would be good to change the idler wheel. However, they're like 40 bucks. So if it's pretty much working, I can't bring myself to spend 40 bucks on this thing for a new idler wheel, right? So I've got it on pause, so we're going to start it, and you'll see what I'm saying. It just takes it a little bit to get up the speed, and if you had a new idler wheel, it probably wouldn't do that. Well, actually, that's pretty good, so. Okay, so I'm going to put it back together. We're going to go to the hobby store and get some cork to put on it. I think maybe I'll paint this stuff that's rusty with some silver paint or something. And I've got to clean off the lid to get all of that junk off of it. So we'll do that, and I think we'll have a decent little record player. And it's got the original needle, or an old needle at least, the one that was in it whenever I got it. Maybe I'll look in to see how much those are. All right, so I've been able to clean up most of the top of it with isopropyl alcohol. I always call it rubbing alcohol. Now, I don't know if that's what it actually is, but it seems to work pretty good. So I'm letting it sit, and then I'm rubbing it with a wire brush. Now, this is not a real prickly, strong wire brush, and this stuff's pretty tough, so it seems like it's taking it pretty good, and I got most of it off already. So I'm going to keep working with it. This looks like it was nail polish or something, so it's a little harder to come off, but I already got like 2/3 of it off. All right, so I got some cork. I didn't get it perfectly round, but it's let me pause it so it looks better. It's all right. I may try to find a rubber one that's the right size. The problem is you can't have it go too far in because you got to be able to pull up the 45 thing. Okay, so in a previous video, we tried to play these Your Man in Service records from Pepsi from back in the 40s. That basically was a thing where Pepsi went around and had a mobile recording studio and would record service members. And so this one says Otto and Lillian. Now, when we played it on the previous video, it was so scratchy sound, you couldn't hardly make anything out. And so people were telling me it's because I was using the wrong needle. So this machine has a flippable needle. So hopefully we will get a better sound out of it since it has an actual 78 needle. So let's see if we can melt the years away and see what they were trying to tell their family back in the 1940s.
Hello, Mrs. Ford. The Pensacola Company is happy to bring you the voice of your daughter and your son-in-law from Maxwell Field at Montgomery, Alabama. All right, here you are.
Hello, Mom. Just thought I'd take this opportunity. So Pensacola Company's giving me to send you a short message to let you know what's going on down here at Maxwell. Tonight, May the 4th, Lou and I have the recreation club with the debts here, and we thought we'd send you a short message and let you know that we were doing fine down here. We both miss you and wish you we could be with you. Be there, sitting in the living room, talking, having Lil and Lou come over. By the way, however, now, old Luke has fish all over the house, maybe down the basement though now, who knows. I've been here 6 weeks so far, and completed quite a lot of my studies, the majority of them, and expect to graduate. Maybe 20, if everything goes well. I'm hoping that I'll be sent back to South Carolina where I can maybe fly over and let you know it's me. Being way down here is kind of awkward. Not being able to get in the world back. I'll switch over now and try on the other side to where we can.
Okay, so it sounds like he said he was in Nashville. And he'd been there 6 weeks, and he hoped that soon he'd be making it back to South Carolina. Let's see the backside. It's his wife comes on here eventually, but we couldn't tell anything she said.
And again, on the other side, Layton's here, and I'd like to say a few words for your mother, and how much you miss you. I don't think she writes as much as she should from what she tells me, but maybe get away from her here. If you
Mother, I'm not that I told you we're out there and you're saying that people are good. I still hope to take first time to go to South Carolina where we can. Get our name and see you once in a while. Money's doing fine. We're sitting in our talking to you last night. They were coming and everything. I appreciate the way she did the money so much. People are living with her real nice too. They've been dying, but sure will hurt you to leave them. But I'll tell you what, finally he'll get no words.
Well, it's me again. I want to tell you that the thing is back now and then, think about us both, because we always think of you, think of the good times we've had together. I know most of the time I've been in the Army, we had about 8 months with you before I had to come in, and I know it won't be very long before we'll be back together again and have some more good times. That's about the only thing we have to look forward to now, because we all have to call over. I want you to take really good care of yourself, and remember you're always thinking of it. Just things like this back, we'll be back together again, and things are coming. And now I'll sign off and say goodbye.
Well, it's even with the correct stylus. I can't hardly make out any of that. What do you think of my cork platter there? That's pretty good, isn't it? I just need something to protect the records, you know. All right, so let me see if I can find a record that they won't copyright strike us for, and then we'll call this one done. All right, this record's pretty dirty, but there's no way that anybody's paying to have this, you know, blocked on YouTube. Now, I could be wrong, but we'll see. Let's see if we can get it to play one so you'll hear this thing sounds pretty good. Now, keep in mind, it's the original stylus or a really old stylus, and it's a school stylus, so they probably beat the crap out of it. And the record's, not the greatest condition. And it's old.
I never knew what the big fat man. You can't build a home on the dollar and the cent. Take it from a man who loved and lost. Take it from a man who almost paid the cost.
All right, folks, I think I got it working pretty good. It could really use another needle, so I might end up having to change the cartridge out eventually. That one, it just, I mean, it plays, but it just, it don't sound great just because of the needle's about shot. But we got her going again. I think the main problem you saw was the on-off switch was screwed up. The top I got pretty clean. You saw that earlier. And the cork is a little bit too thick, but it's all right. So we can put that back on. I don't think it'll stay like that though. Not cleaner than it was. At least I got all of the graffiti off of it. So very cool. I think I've got 2 or 3 more of these same exact ones, different models. So eventually I'll do a video on those too. But I can see that back in the day, these things were probably little workhorses whenever they were in the school. So I was talking with my brother, Joey, not my brother, Donnie. I need to ask Donnie about it. I was talking with Joey, and he didn't remember ever seeing these in school. I don't either. I was born in 78, and I don't remember using record players at school ever. So by then they were probably drying up. I'm sure there was some like legacy stuff where they still needed the record players to play certain things, but I don't think I ever remember us using one in class or anything. Maybe tape players or something, but most of the stuff that I saw by that point was either on a projector or on a VHS tape. It was video stuff. So when I got to college, we had VHS tapes that we learned French on. I remember that, but like I said, it was video. It wasn't audio. So I don't know when they phased these out, but you saw the date code inside of it seemed to say 1972 on that capacitor. So there you go. Leave your comments below. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. And if you didn't subscribe to the new channel yet, check it out. Amateur Repair Time. Eventually, all these videos will be over there, but for now, we're kind of splitting. They're in the middle. There's a whole bunch of videos over there already, though. Go check it out. And make sure to check out my brother Donnie, his channel here on YouTube. We work on our normal channel, we work on arcade games, pinball machines, jukeboxes, all that fun stuff. On Amateur Repair Time here, we mess around with stuff like this and just enjoy vintage electronics a little bit. But on Donnie's channel, he works on old buildings, old vehicles, and he has a farm. So lots of fun happens over there. So go check it out. I need to clean this part still. I took this to work and cleaned it, but I didn't mess with this yet. So check out my brother Donnie, and we will see you here on the next video. I don't know if I mentioned it at the beginning of this. Someone gave me this record player, so I appreciate that. They know who they are if they're watching. I appreciate you bringing it to me, and I got her going. So we'll see y'all on the next video. Hope you enjoyed it.